Welcome back to another episode of the Banner Report podcast, starring your hosts Cody Adams, Steve Crowley, and Jacob Pierce. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Banner Report podcast, starring your hosts Cody, Steve, and Jacob. We are coming to you live on December 9th, 2024. Your Celtics are 19-5 and still in second place behind those goddamn pesky Cavaliers. Boys, what was it, Steve? 5 games in 7 nights?
Yeah, 3-2 in the last 5 games. He lost to the Cavs and the Grizzlies.
Tough competition in there. And I mean, even the teams that you think would be easy, like Detroit.
They're fucking feisty.
Not really. Yeah.
I like Detroit. I like what they're building over there.
Yeah, they got some good shit going on. I mean, I think what it really is K taking that next step into like the guy he is, who they thought he was going to be. You know, he like seems like a bona fide starter in this league.
It's also kind of interesting for like the whole coach situation there too. It's also like kind of shows that JB Bickerstaff wasn't the issue. It's interesting how Cleveland ditched him and got better, but then the Pistons got him and got way better. So it's like, I honestly, who knows what this Cavs rise is, if it's Atkinson or just the players all playing with each, like another Donovan Mitchell year, Mobley getting better. But it's like interesting how that, like, it's funny how like both got better from that. I don't know. Usually a coach leaves and like one situation would get worse at least. But I don't know. It seems Bickerstaff was right to make them practice in Cleveland. He's making the dudes in the Pistons practice. It seems like I haven't seen the exact rules, but he does have some rules for the players that seems to be pretty strict. But I mean, with a young group like the Pistons, they kind of need it, kind of like Ime in Houston.
Yeah. I mean, if you had to look at it, your coach of the year, I mean, is either, oh my God, who's the Cavs coach you used to talk about?
Kenny Atkinson.
Atkinson, or I mean, is Ime going to win again?
Did he win it that year with the Celtics? I don't think he did.
He didn't win it?
No, I don't think so.
I think you're right. I think we've had like coaches like so far like up on the like. I don't think he won it. I think you're right.
Wow, that's interesting.
The last time a Celtics coach won coach there, was it Doc Rivers won the championship?
No, it had to be Brad.
Dude, that might have been the Suns' year.
I don't think Brad ever won the coach of the year.
That's nuts.
What was the year he departed on?
No, it was the year before the finals. He left. Ime took over. We went to the finals. Ime got canned. We got Joe. Now we're here.
Yeah,
so maybe that was the
one.
I was going to say, was that the Monty Williams year, or was that the year they actually got to the finals? I was going to say, was it the year they had all the wins but didn't get it? I think that might have been the year that Monty won it.
It could have been that one.
The one they were the historic record and got embarrassed by Luka in Game 7.
So last year was obviously Daigneault, Jamal Mosley, and Chris Finch. 23 was Mike Brown, Daigneault, and Mazzulla. 22 was Monty Williams, Taylor Jenkins, and Spo.
Yeah, so he wasn't even top 3 in that year.
Yeah, he was never then 21 was Thibodeau, Snyder, and Monty again.
You have to go back to like 2019 for Brad's like best year, I think. Like that was the year that we went to the Eastern Conference Finals with IT. That would have been his best shot at being a coach of the year, even being close, but I don't think he ever was close.
Yeah, I feel like it was always like we needed to do more. Now that we're doing more, it's like, oh, Joe has all the talent.
I mean, seriously, what does a Celtics coach have to do to win coach of the year? It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, you had Brad bringing teams that weren't Eastern Conference ready to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then now that we have the roster, it's like, well, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think that Joe's going to win it this year either, because like you just come off a championship, you're the perennial favorites, so like whatever you do as a coach isn't going to get recognized. We're not going to finish as a number 1 seed this year because we don't care. They're going to give it to probably Ime because what he's doing with the young team with the Rockets. They could give it to Atkinson with the Cavs because he took them from like a 3 seed last year. Now they're going to be a 1 seed. They're probably going to hold that all year. And who the coach?
Dude, you might not have to care this year though. This might be the easiest year ever to get the East 1 seed. We just have to hope the Cavs have 2 bad weeks and we just stay normal. And there's literally no other teams that can challenge it. The Magic could have, but I mean, we could talk about it later, but the Friends news is awful.
Yeah, there's no way. They got year from hell written all over them.
They got to work out those obliques because Jesus Christ, they got 2 different star players tearing obliques within a month of each other.
Why don't you show them what your workout plan is to get your obliques all iron
Man, you got to do them those little crisscross sit-ups, and you got to get the medicine ball and do your side to sides and
I
all that
haven't
shit.
done a sit up since 2018.
I haven't been able to do a sit-up since 2018.
Come on, Cody, you get up every day out of bed. What do you roll?
Actually, no.
I roll up the couch every morning. I use the
I
plate
wake up,
sit-up.
I sit on the edge of my bed, just butt naked, just sitting there for 25 minutes, thinking about like what have I done.
1,000 minutes there.
$100 if you can name the last Boston Celtics head coach to win Coach of the Year. Don't cheat, obviously. By Jacob.
It wasn't Russell. It was the guy after Russell. It was the former
Bill
player.
Russell never won,
Did Russell never won those Coach of the Year?
according to Wikipedia.
Shit. Who was the? He was a former player that coached us.
Tommy Heinsohn?
No, was it JoJo White?
Nope.
ML Carr?
Nope. I don't know if this guy played. I don't think he ever played. Yeah, he never played professional ball. Actually, is that true? Oh yeah, he did play. No, wait, what? I don't know if he played. It's hard to say.
So this is very helpful. We lost Jacob. Jacob hated your question so much he said, "Fuck you, I'm leaving."
He's like $100.
$100. Google this shit real quick. Bill Cowens?
The answer's Bill Fitch.
Bill Fitch? Yeah, no, I don't know who that is. Could have sworn Bill Russell won one, but it would have been well before Fitch, though, because Fitch.
He might have been the only player coach to ever win a championship and be a coach.
Yeah, fuck, that was a weird time where you could fucking coach and play. I mean, fucking, we got like quasi player coaches now with the superstars, but at the end of the day, like, they still paying a coach to fucking be the fall guy on those teams. Like we just talked about with former coach of the Cavs.
Bickerstaff.
Yeah, like he was a fall guy for that team, even though like it wasn't really his fault, obviously. Like it was just one of those things. I think he's just been there for too long. People were tired of hearing his voice. Like that just happens in professional locker rooms.
Well, you're just never gonna get rid of the players, and when it's not the players, you got to look. The GM ain't gonna fire himself, and the owner's obviously not gonna fire himself.
Yeah, the GM's gonna do everything he can to point to everybody but himself. So guess what? Shit rolls downhill, and unfortunately, it's not gonna roll to the players. The players are on the other side of the hill.
A lot of these guys, a lot of these coaches but they should know what it is at this point. You know, are you going to win a championship with Garland and Mitchell as like your 1 and 2? Probably not. But so that means like you got to, but you got to take a stab at it. You got to be the coach, but you can't you got to realize if somebody's got to go, if it doesn't work out, you're probably the odd man out.
Are the contracts guaranteed for coaches in the NBA the way they are with the NFL?
I have no idea.
Because I know NFL coaches, when they get fucking fired, they get their whole contract paid out. So you get like Robert Sala's getting paid right now to hang out at his house. And I'm sure he's happy as a pig and shit to not have to deal with Aaron Rodgers. And he's looking at their record after he left, like, yeah, hey, you guys fucking suck without me too. So
They were better with him.
yeah, I thought he was actually not a bad coach. I thought
He's 500.
I thought they were relying a lot on a 38-year-old Aaron Rodgers coming off a torn Achilles. Like, I think that's a losing equation no matter who the coach is.
Jacob, you are sideways.
Sideways? Okay.
I kind of like it, though. Maybe should keep it that way.
I was going to say, I'm just trying to figure out. These listeners, I had a technical issue. I'm trying to figure out how to do it on my iPad now.
It's fucking all the technology he's got, man. Jesus.
But with Salah, it's another thing. Like, when you're getting Aaron Rodgers, yeah, obviously he's better than Zach Wilson, but if it goes wrong, and there's probably a high chance this goes wrong because you just said he's a 40-year-old quarterback, like 38-year-old quarterback. I'm the man who's going to get fired. No, they're not going to fire Rodgers. They're going all in with this guy. Like, that's what happens when you go all in. As a coach, you just got to realize, like, my ass is in the jackpot, not the players.
They're putting the pressure on me. Unless the players severely underperform, then the pressure's going to be on me. And even then, like in football, when a player underperforms, the finger goes back to the coaching, and like you put them in a position to not perform well.
I was going to say it's definitely sliding doors moments, but like with our guy Joe, third row Joe, as Bill Simmons used to call him, like if the C's never won last year, like would he be coming back? It ain't guaranteed. It ain't guaranteed.
I think it would have depended on how we went out last year.
Well, exactly.
Finals and you lost to like a really good team. Like you say, the Nuggets made the finals last year and they just got it all together and you lost to them. Like, I don't think that we would have fired him, but I think you lose in the second round or something like that. Like
Yeah,
that,
he's the odd man out.
like you might have been out.
Yeah. But fortunately for him
And us.
he pulled through, and now he's probably got a fucking lifetime contract like Doc Rivers until we hand him.
Isn't it so amazing how it's just all like hypothetical for that stuff though? Because as we've in my lifetime, the Celtics organization hasn't. I mean, I can't really speak to before Doc, but we haven't had revolving doors for coaches no matter what the hell is going on. That is the case for other organizations, but like we've never really like I can't even we like the other great programs too have all had that. I can't even think of another other than like Spo or like if you've had like a best coach of all time type coach, I don't really count it, but like anyone that's been kind of working out a process and tanking team, like they all fire their coach. We didn't do that.
Yeah, it's a sign of a good organization that you don't just have a revolving door of coaches in any sport. Like if you look at like the Sixers have had like 6, 7 coaches, I think, since they started the process. Like you're saying, like tanking teams are doing that, but like we've only had since Doc Rivers left in 2012, 2013, something like that. We've
had 3 coaches:
Brad, Ime, and Joe, and one of the coaches wasn't even anybody's fault but his that he got fired. It wasn't like the organization was like, "Hey, we don't want you around anymore. You're not performing."
Well, no,
he was in no long.
No, time out. That was exactly what happened. The organization's like, we don't want you around anymore. You're performing too much. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, it's a sign of a good organization when you're not shit canning a coach every 2 years because like your players can't get in a rhythm of like what they want to do on a day-to-day basis with new coaches every year and a new coach every day in practice. Like it's hard to keep a stable winning culture if you're gonna keep cycling through coaches.
Yeah, I mean, no, I do feel like we got bailed out. We got a little bit lucky because we don't have one of those players who is like, well, you're not going to get rid of me. Like Kevin Durant never came to the Celtics, but Kevin Durant definitely gets coaches killed. But so like I have no doubt that if he came here and it most likely didn't work out like it was probably going to, we'd be probably like that team. I don't think the Celtics are just like leagues better than any other organization. I just think it's really we're in a convex of having 2 players who are like low needs guys who are studs, and Brad did an excellent team of building the team around them, and we're just at a really interesting point where it's all jiving. It's like but don't get me wrong, I could definitely see a future where like JB is like, all right, I'm ahead now, I'm going to a different team, and then we start shit in the bed with just JT, and JT's like, well, you're not getting rid of me, so bye Joe, bye next coach. I could see that future for us.
I don't think that JT would be like, hey, I'm not going anywhere, get rid of him. I think JT would be, okay, I'm just going to keep playing until you'd make the decision on whether you're going to get rid of him. I don't think he's the one who's going to be telling front office to get rid of the coach. I don't think that's how he is. I think that he would just show up and do his job every day. And if it's not working out, then the front office can make that choice for him.
It's a good point. I mean, yeah, I'll backtrack in the point where it's like, I do think JT is like he's not the type of guy to get a coach fired yet.
He's the type of guy that you would pick over a coach, though. So
yes.
So I see the point that you're making there, where it's like if shit starts going downhill in 5 or 6 years, they're not going to say like, let's get rid of Tatum. Like it's going to be, hey, let's go find him another coach that maybe can fit his style of play at that point in his career.
Right. So that's interesting. I mean, by the way, Jacob, before you left, the last Celtics head coach to win Coach of the Year, Bill Fitch in 1981.
Oh my God.
Or 83.
Was that was right after, yeah.
That's after the beginning of Bird, right?
Oh, yeah.
The Cowens era.
Yeah, Cowens won it too.
86 was...
No, sorry. Heinsohn won it, not Cowens.
I thought there was going to be ML Carr or JoJo White or Bill Russell would have been the last one to do it, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, JoJo White, yeah, it's just crazy how it goes that far back. Jeez,
Coach of the Year is so fucking weird too because the Raptors coach won Coach of the Year and they shit canned him before he even picked up his trophy.
Dwayne Casey, that's the second week in a row he's been mentioned on this pod.
He had to stand there at the ESPYs or whatever and get his trophy and smile. It says Dwayne Casey, Toronto Raptors head coach of the year. And he's like, yeah, I'm not even employed by these people anymore. I was so good at my job, they got rid of me.
And then Nick Nurse wins Coach of the Year, ironically enough. and we see how well that's going.
They have coach of the years, and Eric Spoelstra doesn't.
No, Spo does.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't? Oh, yeah, right. Fuck.
He's like one of the greatest coaches I've probably ever seen, and he's just doesn't have a coach of the year to his resume.
That's fucking nuts.
That's why Joe really has a chance to just go after the Spo mantle. He has the resume. It's exactly just the start that Spo had, where he had too good of a system, and then it's almost like when you lose your MVP window. It's like he's already lost his coach of the year window when they had it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to win coach of the year, but the team that they have over there now,
no,
special.
Their Heat thing is over, as we saw. Although, there's a lot of rumors talking about Jimmy Butler getting moved, and I do think they're dead in the water.
How many of their pieces do you move? Like, do you blow the whole thing up?
All of them, besides
Bam, or do you keep Bam? Or
I'd probably keep Bam.
Really build around Bam though, because Bam's not an offensive player. He's an elite defensive player. Like he probably should have won a depoy by now with how great he is all around on defense. He can guard 1 through 5, but like you saw what we did to him when he was the number one option when they played us. We said, all right, Bam, like go try and get yours, and he couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, their pieces suck. It's so fucking frustrating that team beat us.
Well, they had Jimmy at the time, so when Jimmy was playing out of his mind, so
yeah,
they also had some alien come down and take over Caleb Martin's body so he could shoot. Because now look at him in fucking LA, he's fucking dog, fucking water.
Didn't he say some shit about JB not too long ago?
He was the one that started the whole, we can't go left, we're just going to force him left.
Yes.
Cool, dude. Like, JB's a finals MVP now, and you're a footnote in NBA history.
He rues saying that every day, dude. He made JB into a weapon, exposing that part of his body.
Seriously, Jaylen Brown, he's really stepped up and showed out in these last stretch of games, like especially against the Bucks. He took over that game. That was such a big moment for him. He just something about him just seems different than the year before. He just seems like he's like, okay, I'm going to cement myself as a top 10 guy now.
Yeah, he's got that fire this year. That's like
he's not taking the foot off the pedal at all,
yeah.
Which you love to see it.
We all love to fucking do that from JB. JB's the enforcer of the team. I was listening to Still Potable today. He's the only enforcer on the team, which is really weird to think. Like, hey, you're 6'7" small forwards, the enforcer for your team, not your centers. Not like if you look at like who else on this team is going to do that. Like, you don't have that guy on this team, so it's great to have a guy who has that much fire and that much skill to like back it up too.
I mean, I wouldn't fuck with Al Horford, but Al seems like he's a guy who's loved by everybody in the league.
He's not like an enforcer though. Like if like Tatum gets bowled over by Grant Williams, Al Horford's not the first one to run up there. It's Jaylen. Like there's like Al's obviously gonna stick up for his guys, but like there's a levels to it. And Jaylen's the guy where it's like, all right, if you fuck with one of my guys, like you're fuck with me.
D-Wade's sneaky like that too.
A little bit, yeah. Not as boisterous and like he's not gonna sit there and point at fucking Giannis and bump chest him in the middle of a play because he didn't like what he did. But,
no, yeah, JB seems like he'll get aggro, like he'll go aggro on you. But Derek White is just like he's more of like, if you're fucking with me, I'm gonna fuck with you right back.
Ask that guy in fucking the Colorado football game that he got to fight with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the Grizzlies game. I was at the game. It was a great game. I mean, even though we lost, it was still really good. It felt like a playoff game. It had all the physical intensity. The refs sucking chodes. It was fucking brutal. Ja Morant making highlight reel plays. That dunk was legitimately insane.
That was Vince Carter-esque. We've seen Vince do that fucking dunking game before.
I've never seen something like that live at an event. That was like truly a sight to behold. That was probably the coolest thing I've seen happen at a sporting event, besides when Julian Edelman tossed a touchdown against the Ravens in the divisional round in 2014.
Hitting that fucking corner three.
That was close too. Yeah. It's Pascal Siakam digging in his ass.
Dude, do you see that Ja Morant quote that he had, or he's never dunking anymore? I just knew that he was going to do the craziest dunk against us a couple games later after he said that. I was like, yeah, right, dude. He's like, yeah, I'm so responsible now. I'll go for layups. It's like, dude, as soon as you see a moment, I know you, Ja. You're going to like black out and do the craziest thing ever. You're the guy who tries to jump over people every game.
I mean, he kind of had a double clutch that dunk. The way he was taking it in over KP and I think Derek White. Like he sort of had to move that ball.
Dude, talk about
It's like
just dunking
an
around
athlete
two of the
like
better
that.
shot blockers too.
Yeah, an athlete like that, like he can say he's not going to dunk, but it's all instinct. Like when he takes that first dribble at the rim, like it's instinct at that point. He's not thinking about, oh, I'm not going to dunk this. He's like, all right, this is what I do.
Yeah, it felt like he honestly, it was just like, okay, well, oh shit, I'm way up in the air. I'm gonna get stuffed here. If I go straight up with it, I'm just gonna bring it down and put it back up.
You look like a fucking dunk contest dunk the way he fucking double clutched that thing.
Yeah,
Dude, now I'm thinking, is there a tougher duo to dunk around than that in the whole league? Like duo. Like to get around Derek and then also Kristaps with the double clutch. Like
Yeah, beat a guy on the dribble and then have to beat the center afterwards. Like, yeah, that's pretty tough.
not only that, the best, like one of the better shot blocking guards we've ever seen. And then Kristaps, who's elite, obviously. Rim protection, it's insane.
I mean, no matter who you're head up against, the first defender you have to get by, it's a top-notch defender. It's Derek White, Drew
Yeah.
Holiday, JB, JT, like one of them. You're not switching on to anybody who's easy pickings to get
Sam
him.
Hauser.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Peyton because he's our short king, but that's about it.
Yeah, but even then, like Peyton will get in your ass. He'll dog you the whole time you're dribbling. You're not gonna just like make one move and go by him. Like
You're not going to out-hustle him
you have
ever.
to force your way by him. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to put a shoulder in him to get by him. He's gonna beat you to the spot.
No, I don't. I think you're right, Jacob. I think that might be the toughest duo tandem to do that to, and he did it. And it's funny because my girlfriend, God bless her, she loosely knows the Celtics because I'm such a fucking nut job with it. That's all I talk about. But she's like, John Morant, is he like? She's halfway through the game. She's like, he's like their best player, right? I'm like, yeah. How'd you know? She's like, he just looks like it. The way he was playing. And I was like, yeah, that's right. He is their best player. Although Triple J had a fucking hell of a game too.
Yeah, we were kind of just single covering him and saying, hey, shoot your little left-handed hook shots, and like if they go in, they go in. We did our usual. Hey, we're gonna try and get you in between shooting threes and layups, and that was kind of the offense we were giving up twos for threes, but the threes for us just we're not falling that night.
And that's where we have to talk about next. That is the big elephant in the room. The past two games have been brutal for the Celtics shooting wise. It hasn't stopped them from shooting because they shot 60 3-pointers last game against the Grizzlies, but they only shot 30%. And the game before they went 0 for 12 in the second quarter from three, which was which tied the record for most misses.
That was tough. I mean, Drew just had one of those nights. He was 4 of 17 from three against the Grizzlies. And I think that he took maybe like 4 bad ones out of those 17.
I was about to say the action they were running for him, that little play where they like he screens and he like rolls, but he rolls out to the corner and whoever has the ball dishes it out to him. They did that play 10 times. He was open every single one of them, just clanking them. I was like, that play is perfection. If
you would have, I think the only thing I would have liked them to see them do was try and run that play with somebody else. Maybe have D White do it. Maybe have Jaylen Brown set the screen and flare out. Maybe just have somebody else in that corner where they're catching the ball because he wasn't having a good shoot night at all. And another thing is you had Hauser out. He got hurt partway through that game, so missing him, he would have been nice to put in that spot instead of Drew.
KP had a terrible night.
Your second night of the back-to-back, you just had the Bucks the night before. Like I was surprised they even got up for that game. To be honest, I know it's Marcus Smart coming back, but like it's the Grizzlies. Like it's not like it's a rivalry. It's play them twice a year.
Did Drew what's up with? I mean, you're right. Drew wasn't as solid in this game, and I've kind of noticed he's been just worse at shooting overall all year so far. I hope it picks up, but he is only averaging 32% compared to last year's 42% from three. So 10% drop off is pretty significant.
In the corner, he was like what? He was like shooting in like the 50% from the corner.
He was 60% from the corner last year.
And Drew Carter said it like legitimately cut in half now. Like he's shooting like 30% from the.
It's not great. It's one that we got to figure out because that's a key part of our offense is corner threes. So we got a lot of time off for him to look at get with his shooting coach, shot mechanics, get something down. I mean, we have a game again until Thursday, then we don't play again until Sunday. So I think we have like 2 games in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. Like it's not great. So I'd like to see him maybe get in the gym and work on that.
I don't think it's anything to be worried about. I think it's exactly what you said. It was 5 games of 7 nights, back-to-back games against playoff teams that play tough. The Bucks you can, at the very least, whether they're contenders or not, are going to play you physically. So, they probably, and it was fairly emotional during that, the Bucks game with Giannis and JB going back and forth. Yeah, the one thing I'm not really worried about this team is like, are they going to shoot the three good? Because I when they don't, but usually it doesn't matter. And I have a feeling they're going to pick it up. So I'm not too worried.
Yeah, this year when they shoot 33% or less, they're 6-1.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to do. At the volume that we shoot threes, you're not supposed to win those games if you shoot 33%.
And wasn't that the stat all last year, being like, hey, if the Celtics shoot above 30% or 31%, there was like some sort of arbitrary number where it's like it was 33.
Less than 33% for the game from three, then they usually would lose the game.
Yes, right. And now it's just like it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't seem like it matters at all. And even like we're winning games shooting less than 33% from three without Kristaps too. Which is like usually if you're shooting bad from three, you need a guy that you can go throw it to the post and set up your offense that way. And we're still finding ways to do it without shooting up. We're winning a lot of the margins. Like this year, we're averaging 18 threes a game and we're giving up 11. So on an average night, you're 21 points ahead that the other team has to figure out a way to make up. So
yeah,
it's also just hilarious for us to be like, one of our issues is that we only have 3 players shooting over 40% from three, not 4 this year. It's like we still have 3 players that are pretty high volume shooting over 40% from three. So we're still shooting pretty well, but yeah, it's like, we just don't have like the best shooting of all time, which we might still honestly, I don't know, like team wide, but yeah, like, I don't know. It's also just the guy that we got from Milwaukee. We weren't expecting him to be a sniper either. Like, it's not even like what he came here to do. It was just kind of a crazy awesome bonus last year. He had a very high career high in 3-point percentage. Like, if that's in the mid 30s, we win the title still. I'm pretty comfortably.
Yeah, it's nothing to be concerned about, I don't think. It's all okay. The Celtics are a great shooting team, but the knuckleheads, the Felger and Mazes, they're all going to be like, what happens when the Celtics don't make their shots? Are they going to win the championship? It's be like, no shit, idiot. No team has won a championship not making their shots. Dumbass.
if they miss everything, maybe they might not win.
Wow. No wonder you get paid millions to talk about sports.
After every playoff game, they'd just be like, that last game, they made all their shots, so we didn't really get a good test of when it will happen to miss them.
Yeah, sick.
By the way, they're 19-5. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be worried about with this team. Something that is a bit worrisome. KP tweaked it looked like his same leg again, just on the standard, like, I don't even know what it was, like
you just
a layup?
He went to drive off of a dribble handoff and he tweaked it a little bit. I saw me and Jacob were watching on TV, so it didn't look too bad. It looked like he just stubbed his toe and tweaked his ankle a little bit. It wasn't anything crazy. He'll be fine.
All I saw was him gimping around after that. I was like, oh, he's hurt. And then I saw him walking to halftime. But he came back.
That's probably the scariest fucking thing ever at the arena when you watch, because you can't really see what happened. And all of a sudden you see a 7-footer fucking wobbling his way back to the fucking locker room going,
no. I was like, either way, I was like, we'll see you in fucking January, dude. Don't even worry about it.
You want to take a couple weeks off, do your thing. Like, go crazy.
Yeah.
That literally happened was first round of the playoffs last year, and it didn't stop us from winning the title. So
it wasn't wrong at all.
Moving on, the Bucks game. I want to talk about it. Another hard, gritty game. Chris Middleton made his season debut against the Celtics after his double repaired ankle surgery, whatever the fuck it was. He has 2 new feet, essentially, I guess, is what it is. He's the $1 million man. No KP, but there was no excuses. We still came away with the win. Shot terribly. Didn't matter. Giannis going nuts, elbowing Jaylen Brown in the face, up to his antics again. What do we think with him? What the fuck is the deal?
I think he's becoming more and more unhinged as the years go on, and the losing continues, because I think they've won one playoff series since he won the championship like 2 or 3 years ago. Like, a guy at that level, only getting one playoff series win, and like seeing what the team's putting around him, he's losing his mind. It's
hard to assail his gameplay when you look at his numbers. And it's like, if he was not on that team, they'd be the worst team in the league. Like,
it would be close. It would be Portland Trailblazers all of the East again, just for Dame.
But then again, he cost them the game with that fucking. The game was like neck and neck until the final minute. He just takes a in transition, like 3, for no reason, and they couldn't recover from that.
Yeah, he missed that three, and Al Horford went down and hit a three. That's a 6-point swing right there.
Yeah, in the dying minutes, and it's just like, what? Who on the fucking I know Doc Rivers is not. He gets laughed at, but there's no way he's okay with being like, yeah, Giannis, that was a great shot. Sometimes it's a make or miss league. It's like, no, dude, you can't shoot.
You shoot 20% from three for the year. Like, don't pull that one.
Yeah, and especially when the guy, his teammate Dame, had it going all game. He had I think 30 points that game. So it's just, yeah, man, I don't know. It's interesting to see how the tides are. He doesn't endear himself to any other fan bases. Pardon the pun.
That was a good pun, though.
JB, obviously, I thought they were like buddies. He obviously doesn't like him.
No, fucking JB hates him.
He hit the too small.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that. I love their rivalry. I like that they don't like each other. They called him a child earlier this year. Like, we swept them, and we don't play them again for the rest of the year too, which is the weirdest part of the schedule. We don't play the Bucks again for the rest of the year, and it's not even January. If we don't face them in the playoffs, then we won't see them again until next season.
I'm okay with that.
I don't hate that. I like that we don't play Porzingis against them either. It's
That's
like, why
for
put
sure.
him out there to get ran into by Giannis a bunch of times? Like, we don't need you to win this game. Like, I honestly thought the Celtics were going to win by fucking 20 that game. So
I mean, the Bucks they're all right. I can see a little bit. I don't think they're a contender at all, but I can see why they're competitive.
It's only taken Giannis' I think his best year of his whole career this year to got scratched up to 6th place in the East. So yeah, their team's pretty rough. They made it certainly a climb since the brutal start. But yeah, he's had some insane numbers. Like you're saying, he doesn't have the most winning basketball and modern. I don't know. I mean, he did win the final 4 years ago, but it just feels like the game just evolved so much that it's tough.
You're just, I don't know how much we can consider you one of the greatest, if you can't shoot the ball. Just now, not anymore. I mean, in 1980s, he's probably the best player in the league, given Michael Jordan runs. But
Probably just will.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, you can make the argument that Shaq didn't shoot. Like, you can.
Yeah, but he's not one of the. I don't think Shaq is making anybody's top 3. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think Giannis was ever in the argument to make anybody's top 3. I mean, Jokic clears him by a mile, and he's not in anybody's top 3 either.
Jokic is a much better player because he can shoot.
Yeah.
He touches the ball, and you're like, what the hell is he going to do?
Yeah, but he's also like, if he's not in the top 3, if Jokic isn't in anybody's top 3, then I don't think Giannis even deserves to be in anybody's top 15.
That's absolutely fair. We're in agreement.
But I don't think that has anything to do with him not being able to shoot. I think it has to do with that Jokic has 3 MVPs going for number 4 this year.
Giannis has 2, though. He's not this is not like Carmelo to Kobe comparison. This is like Hakeem to Kareem type comparison.
Yeah, but look at the numbers on a night-to-night basis between the two of them, though. Like, Jokic's numbers are better. He's a better facilitator. He's almost as good of a rebounder, and he's a better scorer.
Are you so certain about that?
For which part?
What are the averages both are averaging this year? I'll look that up.
Giannis is averaging 33, 11, and 5, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, they might both be in top 2. They might be 1 and 2 for rebounding and points and swap them both. I think Giannis is leading in points and then Jokic is leading in rebounds. But they're both in the top 3 for both.
So Giannis this year is averaging 32.5 points, 11.5 rebounds, 6 assists on 61% from the field, 20% from 3.
Dude, 6 assists, dude. 6 assists is absurd.
Yeah. Jokic, 32 points, 13.5 boards, and 10 assists on 56% from the field and 50% from 3.
He's clearing him by a mile, so
he's what?
He's clearing him by a mile, with his efficiency.
Well, it's not that crazy. I mean,
he's averaging 2 more boards and 4 more assists, and he's clearing him on efficiency by a mile.
Well, yes, but that's
whose team
my issue is that he can't shoot.
Whose team is worse if you took them off of it? The Bucks or the Nuggets? Do you think the Nuggets are a worse team or the Bucks are a worse team without their top player?
I think the Bucks are the worst team.
Do you think it's I don't know. You have Chris Middleton and Damian Lillard. Your number 2s on the Nuggets are Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray, who is not Jamal Murray anymore.
Yeah, but you got other people like Watson, MPJ, Gordon whenever he's back. Like you don't have nothing. Whereas the Bucks have Chris Middleton with 0 legs and Damian Lillard, who's the biggest liability in the league, and I don't know AJ Green and Brook Lopez, who's 105 years old.
Yeah, no, I see
I don't
that.
know. It's not leagues run away. I mean, Jokic is the better player. I'm in agreement. It's not like we're talking about like two different calibers. But kind of though. I'm having a hard time justifying it, but
I mean, like Giannis got a deep boy that Jokic will never have. Jokic will want a deep boy. That's one thing, but
that's not fair to Jokic because I think he's a pretty good defender.
yeah, I think he's a very underrated defender. I think that like he's a very smart defender, but he's not making the highlight plays. He's not getting you 3 blocks a game or a couple steals. Like, and
He's
also
also not playing with anybody like Brook Lopez.
yeah, and also this year, like he's definitely not going to be putting up any defensive numbers because he's going to have to waste all of his energy carrying that team.
That's the fuck thing with Jokic too, is he like understood how like what he could actually do for defense, and that's what he does. I think he like leads the league in or like top 4 and 3 in deflections every year. Like he's just good with his hands and stuff. But
He
I
knows
like
where to put his hands, yeah.
yeah, and he's just huge. So it's like no matter what, if he's like smart, uses his hands, and he's huge, you should be decent at defending.
Oh, he's
But yeah,
crazy intelligent. He sees the play before it happens on defense. That's how he always in the right place.
imagine if he was athletic too. God,
Dude, if he was athletic, he'd be fucking 6'10" LeBron.
God.
Looking at Jokic's nicknames, obviously there's the Joker, right? Can you guess what his other nicknames are? According to Basketball Reference.
Oh, the basketball reference has the wildest fucking nicknames, like the Serbian Hammer or something like that.
No,
Big Honey.
Big Honey, Big
Yeah.
Honey,
Jacob should know all these.
Cookie Monster,
Oh, that's new. I think that's new.
Yoke.
Yeah, that makes sense. Joke.
Yeah, I guess it does. And then the Big Tipper,
Big Tipper. That's funny.
which I don't get that one. Anyways,
Tip passes, tip ins. He does tip. He does tip more than I've seen. He almost tipped a whole full court shot in. So maybe that is
he does do he does do a lot.
yeah. And just tap like gets a rebound, doesn't even think about it, just passes it with his rebound. Basically, it's disgusting.
Hey, maybe when he goes to the steakhouse, he tips well too. Maybe that's what they're talking about.
I was gonna say when he's at like the nightclub or like the club dancing just by himself, he's just tipping waitresses. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I got. The Bucks don't scare me. Detroit kind of scares me, but it feels like they have to do something.
They don't have enough offense to scare me.
The Grizzlies could give you. I mean, I don't think they're beating us in 7, but they can give you a tough series. I think.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think the Celtics are going to shoot 17 for 60 from 3 again. They'd have to do that in 7 games for them to give us a series because they only won that game by like 5 points.
Well, one thing's for certain: you can't start fucking John Conchar, or give John Conchar like 20 plus minutes, which they were doing.
5 minutes.
He's like legitimately
5 minutes. It's
all
like
he is good for is 6 fouls. That's all he did all game.
he looks like lamb chops to fucking Jayson and Jaylen when he's out there.
But I mean, listen, he was doing his job. He was throwing his body all over it, pushing people in the back and shit.
I'm just glad the Grizzlies are back, honestly. Just Ja, Ja is so fun. Like, stop. I hope he just doesn't get suspended or injured again because he really has. Like, he's almost like him and Anthony Edwards go tit for tat when it comes to just like, if you look at a year where they were really doing their thing, like 5 or 10 of the top best exciting players of the year are going to come from them.
Yeah, I mean, the league is better when Ja Morant is playing in it, and I hope he knows that. And I think he seems like a different guy, but we don't know.
Seems like a really good guy on the court. I tell you what, like everybody seems to like him. Like he's always helping guys up, like on the other team. Like he seems like guys seem to get along with him good.
I think everybody on the Celtics likes him.
Yeah, that is a good point. I literally don't think I've ever heard a bad thing about him from players.
Well, he had that shit. I mean, I think a lot of that was Dylan Brooks getting into it.
I think that's just like, hey, Dylan Brooks runs into assholes all over the place, so maybe that means that he's the asshole.
Yeah.
Detroit. I mean, what can you say about Detroit? They're fun, but they're not good.
Fun and feisty. I like their young guys. They play defense really fucking hard, which is fun to watch.
I think everybody leaving this game can leave with 2 things. One, the Pistons, they're young, they're fun. The Cade is good. But Malik Beasley, like why he was on the Lakers. like the LeBron Lakers at one point. What
Making you shooting for sure.
a guy who's 3-and-D, like, or at least effort D, like he's not the biggest guy, but he gives you effort on the defensive end. Like you can't use that.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't know why he's bouncing around the league.
Didn't the Bucks just let him go?
Yeah, the Bucks let him go too. I don't even think the Bucks like traded him. I think they just let him go, which is wild.
I think he was on the Nuggets too. Like all these teams that really would have needed him in the past few years, and they're
He's
just
played
like,
on like 57 teams.
yeah.
He's on the Wolves.
The team that really needs shooting. Yeah.
Hey, is there a team in the league that needs shooting? You probably have Malik Beasley on your team.
Makes you wonder what it is.
I liked Marcus Sasser too for them. I thought that kid played great. Like
Yeah.
he was everywhere. He was tipping everything, playing great defense. He hit down. I think he knocked down a couple of threes too. He's going to be a good player for a long time in the league, I think. I saw I saw a fucking TikTok. Some guy from Detroit was like, "Yeah, this like you lose the Celtics is whatever. Like you don't expect to win because you're the Pistons." But he's like, "Oh, this one hurts a little bit extra because JB in the offseason was talking about, oh, we're just going to let Peyton get his shit off against the Pistons. We're just going to play Sam Howes and let him shoot 10 threes." That's exactly what we did against them. It's like, yeah, this one stings a little bit extra because like they know what they can just do it to us.
Malik Beasley, can you guess what his stat line averages for this year are currently?
I would say 8 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist.
Okay, so in 25 games, he's averaging 16 points, 3 boards, and 2 assists on 44% from the field and 41% from 3. There's fucking 28 teams that can use that.
I think there's 29 teams that could use that. I think the only team that can't use it is us.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, seriously, he's going to probably get moved at the deadline because I don't think – I mean, if the Pistons front office is smart, that's what they would do.
100%.
I would keep him.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, you got Jaden Ivey. It's kind of hard to justify it, I guess.
You want Cade to have spacing, too. You want to be able to work in spacing because you saw what happened last year when they didn't have spacing. It was like, all right, we're just going to go jam the lane on Cade, and he kind of struggled. You've seen what he can do this year now that there's spacing. He's had a couple triple-doubles. Like, he's playing really well.
Maybe you get Jaden Ivey off your books. I don't know. Keep Malik Beasley.
You're not going to win. Like, what are you going to get for Jaden Ivey getting him off your books?
Well, he's 22 years old. He is a trade chip, and he's averaging 17.5 points a game.
Yeah, but you're not winning anytime soon. You might as well just fucking draft and keep doing your thing until you have a chance of winning.
But that's also the counter argument for why you get rid of him. A guy like Malik Beasley, a guy who's, in his later 20s, who has shown you that he can't be consistent.
I mean, tell the Lakers, hey, we want Bronny. See what
honestly, Malik Beasley for LeBron straight up. Who says no?
Baby Bronny.
No, the LeBron.
I just want to see if they would say yes behind LeBron's back. If I was another GM, I would be offering bench pieces for Bronny just to see if I could just fuck up the Lakers even more.
Do you see that the Lakers are shopping the big Bron? Or it's rumors that he might want to get traded or whatever. There's a lot of trade innuendo around.
I don't believe it. I think it's just he had a bad stretch at 38 years old. Like, it's what.
Well, his defense is real bad.
Well, name somebody on that team whose defense is real good other than Anthony Davis. Like,
fair.
That team is old and unathletic. Like, you have one good defender on your team.
Better at defense than D'Lo somehow, just from being 6'8".
Well, also just being more intelligent too. Like,
yeah.
I like D'Lo, but like you're not gonna match LeBron's intelligence on defense. Like you can just kind of stand there in the right place.
It does make you wonder, though. Just sort of circling back to Bronny, if let's just say in a bizarro world, LeBron does for whatever reason force a trade. He's like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm going to Houston or whatever. How fast do you think the Lakers would? Do you think they would cut Bronny?
Yes, immediately,
outright.
The
right
kid
away.
The kid doesn't even play road G League games right now. Like he's not developing. Like he's not an NBA player. Like,
but it's also not a great look for you as an organization.
It was already not a great look for you as an organization to draft him. Who cares at this point?
I think you hold him for ransom.
I was gonna say, do you try and shift him off, or do you just get rid of him?
Who?
I don't know. I wouldn't have drafted.
He can't even play in this league, dude. Like, you see what J.D. Davison is doing in the G League? He's averaging 30 points a game, and he can't touch the floor in an NBA game. Bronny doesn't play away games for a G League team. Like, he's not going to ever touch the floor.
Is J.D. Davison the most all-time points for the Maine Red Claws?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats to him.
Most points and most assists, I think.
And by the way, that guy's just on our G League. That guy who probably could play some sort of minor role for a team is just hanging on our fucking up in Maine.
Yeah, but look at all the rest
That's
of them.
how loaded we are.
Look at that G League team. Like those guys can't touch the floor. Like even other guys can't touch the floor. They're in the G League right now.
Well, I mean, I think the Celtics have done a really good job of developing G League talent.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we're an outlier because our team is just top to bottom. We have for 2 or 3 deep in every position. So that's an outlier. But there's other teams with G League guys that can't break the NBA. They're averaging much better numbers than Bronny Jr.
It's like a legit farm system too. You guys saw like the post that was like saying like showing that what the starting 5 of the finals were in the G League last year for the Celtics. It's like everyone but Davidson is on the roster. Like it was Peterson, which is crazy. Another reason for JD to be on the roster someday. God damn it! But it was Peterson, Keita, Walsh, and who else?
Springer?
No.
He's on a full contract.
Oh, who would have been? There was we basically had played 4 of the 5 starters.
It wasn't O'Shea, obviously. He wasn't on a 2-way.
Yeah,
I remember seeing.
What is it? No, not Shireman. We just drafted him.
Might have been even someone like no, it wouldn't have been Hauser because he was already on the team like fully then.
Well, the thing that's tough about J.D. Davison's position too is that he can't play in the G League next year. You only have a certain amount of eligibility to play in the G League, and he's out of that now. So
Damn.
he either has to get signed to a contract with us or somebody else after this year.
Well, he's not going to take it. I mean, I don't know. He's not taking anybody's job.
Not taking anybody.
They can't appeal like the college quarterbacks.
How does that guy Andre Ingram like always play in the G League?
He didn't. I don't think it's by how old you are. I think it's how many years you've played in the G League. And he was playing overseas, and then he came over and played in the G League, and then he got a 10-day with the Lakers, then he got a full contract.
Interesting.
It does make sense. It is like a development league, so it does make sense to be like, all right, you've been developing for 10 years, give someone else a shot.
J.D. Davison got drafted, I think, 6 years ago or something like that. So, like, it's
really holy shit! It's been 6 years since we drafted him.
I think so. I mean, we got guys overseas that we drafted that are never going to make it over here. Unfortunately, that I was very excited about.
Like who, dude?
Johan Begaron. He was over in France. That guy is he's a 6'7" wing, freaky athlete. He was really good.
Who was the other guy?
Jan Madar. He played over.
Jan Madar.
He was playing at Israel or something like that, and he was really good too. He had some flashy passes. He was a good player.
Who was it?
Jan Madar. He played over in Israel. I think it was Israel. He had some really flashy passes. He was a very, very interesting player. But like, you're not going to break this rotation as a wing. We can't even put you in our G League right now.
I mean, Gershon Yabusele is legitimately starting.
Yeah.
And he couldn't crack the steam.
Dude, it's like I tell the story all the time. Luke Herringode used to bounce around from the G League to the so we sucked, and he was averaging 25 and 10 in the G League, and he couldn't crack the rotation on a team that was playing. Vitor Favarani, I think, was playing minutes on that team.
Sounds like a UFC fighter.
He looked like a fucking UFC fighter too.
I remember him, dude. He had a couple 5-block games. Him and Greg Steensma.
Dude, wasn't his first game with us? Didn't he have like a 5-block game or something like that? And everybody's like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be really good," and then he just sucked.
I literally think that's all I remember about his career, and that's why I stayed in a couple. He might have only had one, and it was his first game. But
so I don't think Bronny's gonna make the NBA. I'm sorry, Bronny. I mean, like, no, but go play overseas. Go enjoy your life. You're a young kid. Like, you're definitely good enough to play overseas. And if maybe you can develop over there and come back over here and give it another shot, but like,
brother, he's getting paid $7 million to just live in LA. $7 million a year.
Is advertised? He could just go back to FaZe too.
Yeah, it's not like he needs the money either. Like, he's gonna. Do you think LeBron's gonna keep all his money when he dies? Like, those kids.
Well, I mean, no. I don't think he's worrying from. But it's just $7 million just to do nothing. Like I would take that deal.
Go overseas and actually hoop though. If you want to hoop, depends on.
And Bryce Young is gonna make the NBA too. So,
what he should have done, and obviously hindsight's 2020,
Bryce James,
is that he should have just stayed at USC another year.
I don't know. I think he wanted to play with his dad in the NBA, which I get that for sure. Like, if you're not doing it, they played together in the court.
They checked in at the beginning of the year.
They played a couple of games together because the Lakers suck so bad that they got been playing games at the end of the game with LeBron. But be around your dad on the team, like, learn firsthand what it's like. I get that.
Are you over here not just advocating for him to go play overseas? I'm saying this is what
if I had the chance to play hoops with my dad in the NBA, I'd do it and then go overseas afterwards. I don't give a shit. Like, he's not going to be there after I come back from being overseas. He's going to be retired by then. Like, you don't know how much time he's got left.
Yeah, and I don't mean to. It's not LeBron's fault or Bronny James's fault. It's the Lakers' fault for
giving in.
Yes.
But what a flex by LeBron. Like, hey, I got my kid on the fucking Lakers. I don't blame either of them for doing it. Like, no vitriol from me. Like, go do your thing. Like, what a fucking life. What a flex. Like, but if he wants to hoop and he wants to make the NBA, I think he just needs to go overseas and hoop somewhere and like figure it out. Like,
play his way back in.
Like LaMelo did. But I mean, LaMelo, I think, is a better talent coming out of high school than Bronny was. But
who do you think's getting moved? Who's the best player to get moved at the deadline?
Best player to get moved? I mean, the cheap answer is Zach LaVine, but I don't think there's any buzz around him anymore.
Yeah, would he even be considered the best?
Well, who do you think is going to get moved that's better than him? Jacob, you know the trade market. You're the cap expert over here. You're our Bobby Marks.
I feel like the Rockets could do something big.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I mean, like, depend best. I'm just thinking like biggest, but like, I mean, I think MPJ would move if the Nuggets are this bad. But you'd have to compare like who's actually better, but to other players. But I think Michael Porter Jr. could be moved. But like, I mean, if Jimmy Butler's traded, that'd be probably take the cake, right?
But I mean, do you think that Jimmy Butler is better than Zach LaVine right now because Jimmy Butler doesn't play?
Yeah, if I had to pick, I'd pick Jimmy Butler.
If you're picking them both fully healthy, I'd pick Jimmy Butler. Yeah, because I think there's more effort on a night-to-night basis than Zach LaVine. But
you also can't count on health. You can't if health is a make or break thing. Zach LaVine ain't necessarily got the cleanest bill of health himself.
Yeah, but like, at least his are like, all right, this is like a legit injury that we can rehab. Like a lot of Jimmy.
He's also younger.
And a lot of Jimmy Butler's is like, hey, tonight my ankle hurts. I'm not playing. Like, there's no like injury to rehab there.
No, you don't think like JoJo gets moved, or Paul George, or somebody on the Minnesota Timberwolves? I don't
think that any of those guys get moved.
You don't think Julius Randle could get moved? I think he could.
Are you allowed to trade him after you just traded for him? Isn't there a thing where you can't trade a guy before the next trade?
That might be. Because in 2K, there's something like that.
With something else. But even then, like, they're playing well now. They're playing better.
Yeah, only after Anthony Edwards was like, what the hell?
Hey, look, Jokic did the same thing to the Nuggets. So
I guess maybe one of the Pelicans players.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, the Pelicans. They're probably
an injured player though. That's another thing. Like, if a guy's injured, can you trade him because their whole team's injured?
It's a good strategy by the players. Honestly, Ingram's like, you're not moving me. Good luck.
Lou Dort's fucking flopping and taking his ankle out from underneath him. Lou Dort, I've seen a lot of Lou Dort hate on the timeline, talking about how he's a dirty player too.
Every player that plays defense tough is going to be called dirty. I'm resigned to that fact.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch enough Lou Dort to really have a basis to make an argument on. The clips I saw didn't look too great, but
yeah, it's just tough. I remember seeing
it's going to happen.
We had to defend against those tapes with Marcus for so long. And I feel like, and we knew how good he was, but he just, because he tried so damn hard, he'd hurt some people sometime. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like with some of those players, it's hard. You have to like be like so into it to actually know if he's into their team, to know if like the case to case basis. But I remember seeing that for Marcus Smart. Like, he'd accidentally get someone injured, and then afterwards, every fan base would be showing clips, and then we'd have to be like, no, but like talk with the situations that it wasn't. You know what I mean? Kind of, it sucks. Yeah, I agree though. I mean, it's hate injuries, but it sucks to paint people like that.
That Pelicans team has the worst injury curse I've ever seen. Like, everybody on the team is getting hurt. I feel bad for fucking Elfrid Payton. Elfrid Payton got signed on a 10-day, came in, had a 21 assist game, and then they just cut him. It's like, dude, like, what? You can't use me?
He's going to lead the league in assists per game average.
He played 3 games. He's averaging like 17 a game.
Dude, I hope it's the biggest positive ever and another team signs him and he doesn't have to play for the Pelicans, but you're right. So right now it sucks, but maybe he just tried out on one of the more miserable situations and gets picked up by a contender. That'd be pretty golden for him. But yeah, right now it's like, what the heck?
How can you not use him? Like, your whole fucking team's sitting on the bench.
I think they told us they don't want to use anyone.
Yeah, I think it's probably like, he's too good.
Are they trying to lose now? Do you think at this point in the season, with all the injuries, you think that they're going to start tanking?
I mean, they have, 5 wins?
Are they that bad this year? I haven't looked at their schedule or their.
They're real bad.
I think it's them and the Blazers at bottom of the West.
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to beat out the Wizards for the worst record in the league.
I don't know, man.
Dude, the Wizards went all November.
Pelicans are 5-20.
I think the Wizards only have 3 wins.
The Jazz also a sneaky blow, 5-18. That's also a team that could be a trade. A trade.
Not Laurie though.
I think Kessler probably get moved.
Doesn't Laurie have the block?
I don't think
I think so. I think when they talk about trades for them, I from what I can remember, I think they talk about Walker Kessler getting.
He's
maybe like Collins
too because he doesn't cost anything. So he could even get traded to a team like that's above the salary cap.
Wow, the West is it is a crazy conference. You have the Pelicans and the Jazz who have 5 wins. Then you have the Trailblazers who have 8. Then every other team is like 12 wins to 13 wins. And then it's just like the Thunder have 18. It's like it is fucking.
It's tight at the top, but then after you get away from the top, it drops off.
It's tight throughout.
Well, I mean, like an 8-win team's not really going to catch up to a 12-win team because the 8-win team right now is the Blazers. So
the dregs are their season's over.
As the season goes on, those 8 and 5-win teams are probably going to stick around 8 and 5 wins for a while the rest of the teams keep stacking up wins. So.
But like, I don't think a team like the Kings, who are in 12th place currently with 12 wins, are like out of it necessarily.
No. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like the top half, like the 12 to 18s, like those guys are. It's all tight up top. Like that was what it was at the end of the year last year. Teams were like throwing games at the end of the year to get better seeding because they knew that they could do it because it was so close.
The East is much more dispersed.
It's us and the Cavs, and then it's like.
Then through the 10 seed, it's like all 10 win. It's all from us down. It's like 17. I guess 7 games out. That is kind of a lot there, but like the Sixers 7-15 in 12th place, the Hornets 7-17, the Raptors 7-17, and the Wizards 3-19.
Yeah, like I think the Wizards are gonna secure that bottom spot. That's pretty bad. Like they went the whole month of November without winning a game. Like that's.
The Pelicans' active roster could be up there for one of the worst of all time.
Seriously, I honestly, if I had to like look at the 2 teams right now, I'd probably, if I had to bet money on who's going to win a game, I'd bet on the Wizards.
I'm gonna look up who played in the last game.
That's no fault of the Pelicans though. Who do you think had a worse roster, the Pelicans right now or the Bobcats when they had the worst record in NBA history?
Well, it's not that they're like. I think that team, like, it's more of like going forward since everyone's fallen down. It's like they started fine, so they're probably not on like the trajectory of worst of all time. But it's like as everyone gets injured, it's like holy crap! Now you have the worst team of all time with a 5-20 record. Who played in this last game? Let's see.
A bunch of guys I've never heard of.
Jose Alvarado.
So their starting 5 is DeJounte Murray just came back, so that's good. And then they got CJ.
I guess CJ McCollum.
Never did you think in a trade where DeJounte Murray's leaving the fucking Atlanta Falcons for Dyson Daniels, would you think that the Hawks would win that trade? But they've definitely won that trade.
Dyson is special. He's gonna. You think Dyson Daniels You think that Dyson Daniels is gonna lead the league in steals for like the next 5 years straight or what? Like,
he's pretty awesome.
Well, what about Trey Young?
Trey being like kind of whatever.
Trade candidate?
You think he's getting traded? I can see the Hawks doing that just to bomb for a good player because they're not really missing anything over there. Like the Hawks, they play hard. I like how they're playing this year. And Trey's actually like I've seen a lot of clips of him actually trying this year, which is on defense, which is wild to see. But
because he can feel the heat around the corner, that's why.
He's gonna get a contract regardless. I mean, the guy averages like 26 and like 8. He's gonna get a good contract no matter where he goes. Even if he just stayed in Atlanta, they give him another max. But if they really want to blow it up, like who's your second best player on that team?
The new cornerstone. I was gonna say they should just focus on him.
Yeah, like Jalen Johnson's a really good player, yeah. So I mean, if you blow it up and you trade Trey for a bunch of random shit, expiring contracts and whatever, and draft capital, you could really make a play for Cooper Flag at the end of the year, and you could end up with Cooper Flag, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels.
I don't think they're anywhere near that. They're in 7th place right now. I think they're gonna like actually try and push the chips in.
I mean, if you're talking about Trae Young getting traded, then you're not pushing the chips in because you're not going to get back anything that's as good as him.
You don't know about that.
Who's on the trade market that you're going to trade Trae Young for? You can trade for Jimmy Butler?
What if you get like I don't know. I'm just thinking in my head, like I feel like the Rockets have enough pieces where they would trade you back enough stuff that it wouldn't be like a huge drop off for the.
Yeah, but your wins would drop off though because you're not going to get a player that's going to be able to win you games. So then you're not going to lose enough that you're going to be a top pick in the draft, but you're also not going to win enough that you're going to be competitive. So you're going to put yourself in limbo doing that.
No,
It's kind
maybe
of
he
a
doesn't
delicate
get moved.
balance of like, hey, if we do blow this up, we need to make sure that we blow it up, and we tank. Or are we going to trade Trae Young and try and get enough stuff back that we can entice a free agent this year or something? I don't know.
The Hawks will forever be okay with that, though, too. They love being the 8th seed.
They
I think
do.
that's the,
Are they the team that was like 500 for like 3 years straight or something like that? And they
yeah, I
would
think
never go
so.
more than like a game above 500 or a game below 500? Yeah,
Yeah, I think that is. And that was the Red Sox like the last 2 years, too. It sucks.
it was fucking. That's just such. That's the worst limbo you can be in. Like 41 and 41 at the end of the year. Like we're gonna get the 13th pick in the draft. We're not gonna get a top pick. Like our team's not gonna get any better this year.
But at least the Red Sox, like when they do break off from that streak, they win a championship, or they're miserable. They're very polar.
Boy,
Also, shout out Juan Soto, the 600,
700,
$700 million man.
dude.
Somehow you're still not high enough. Who's 765?
Baseball contracts are wild, dude. He got 15-year contracts, and he has an opt out after 5, so he doesn't even have to play with the Mets if they suck in 5 years.
Dude, he's getting $1 million a year because he's getting $1 million a year for 15 years straight. Well, like his contract rounds up to 52 million a year.
Oh, a million a week.
Did I not say it right? $1 million a week.
Oh, yeah.
I meant it. I
Yeah,
meant if I say a year.
a little bit
Shit.
more than a
No,
million.
no.
In
He's
a year, I'm like, holy shit.
No, he's basically making $1 million. No, that's what Otani's making on the books, actually. But
Yeah, they deferred
the
his entire fucking contract, so like he's getting like $4 or $5 million a year, something stupid, and then like the rest of his like $800 million contract is like, all right, you pay me out when I retire.
They're gonna be paying. Yeah, they're gonna be paying him until probably we die, which is sad.
They're gonna be paying Bobby Bonilla until he dies.
I think he's dead.
No, he's alive. He gets $1 million every July 1st from the fucking Mets because the Mets owner got pulled into that Ponzi scheme by Bernie Madoff.
But shout out to the Mets owner, Steve Cohen. That's his name, right?
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy you want to talk about money burning a hole in your pocket? This guy cannot hold on to money.
Beautiful. You'll love to see it for the game. Like, put the pressure on the rest of these fucking owners to open up their checkbooks. I know it does. I know it's never going to affect John Henry. He's never going to open his checkbook, a cheap fuck. But like the rest of these owners, like, hey, you want to compete with us? Like, you better open it up.
Does it really even put that much pressure on the owners? Like, I don't even think it does. I think it's just like, hey, only 2 teams can really afford me, ever.
Yeah, but Monso's now he's gonna change the market too. Because the next guy's not going to be as good as Juan Soto, but he's going to want like a really big contract. Not like as big as his, but another really big contract. Somebody's going to have to pay it.
Right.
Because his
But
age.
then you have teams like the Oakland Athletics who payroll is half of what Juan Soto makes in
Not
a
the
week.
Oakland Athletics anymore, okay?
Well, whatever. The ownership's still the same.
Athletics for the next 2 years, and then they're going to go to Las Vegas.
See, I don't. Baseball's the weird thing with there's a lot of disparity. There's just a lot of disparity.
Yeah, there's obviously the fucking bottom feeders like the Athletics are always going to penny pinch, and John Henry's going to penny pinch. That is what it is. But teams that want to be relevant and want to compete, they're going to have to open up their checkbooks because the agents are going to use Juan Soto's contract as leverage for the next guy coming up.
We're not talking about like a guy making $30 million a year anymore. We're talking about guys making like
$50 million a year,
almost $1 billion, which is a lot of what owners don't even tend to have that. Like, well, most owners do, but then we're talking about like they have to pay that bill, and I don't mean to cap for the billionaires. I don't care. It's not they should spend the money, but like it really does feel like baseball suffers from not having a salary cap. Yeah, it just feels like.
Yeah, I get it, but at the same time, like I think these agents really need to use it as leverage to press the billionaires and make them spend money on this.
And you say agents, there's only one. It's Boris. It's only one agent. He's
He doesn't
paid.
know what he does.
You know what's interesting though is I'd say like out of all the sports, because you're right, it feels like on paper that's the case, but then when you actually look at the World Series along the timeline, you'll be like, damn. Usually, this is like this last year's I saw was like the only real year that like two of the top spenders make it to the World Series. It's like I feel like if anything, like basketball almost somehow has like a more market disparity when it comes to like the actual teams that make it to the final. Like with the Nationals win the World Series in 2019, with the Diamondbacks in the World Series last year. It's like a lot of times it's like one of the biggest spender versus one of the like power of friendship does dominate sometimes in baseball, which is cool.
That's a fair point. I forgot about
But let me going forward. Do you think it's not going to be the top spenders? Because like the Yankees are probably still going to be knocking on the door of the World Series. The Dodgers are always going to be knocking. Now you
Somehow
got the Mets are coming up now too.
Well, the Mets were good last year.
Yeah, now they got even better. Like they have one of the highest payrolls in the league. So I think we might be. It might be on a bell curve. And we might be hitting the top of that bell curve, where the spending's going to start matching up with the World Series appearances. And if other owners start noticing that and they start realizing that you can make money by spending money, then I think they might start opening up that checkbook. But it also depends on the performance of all these guys that they spend all this money on. Because if all these guys start flopping, then all of a sudden guys are going to start getting scared and not want to spend that money. So
it does feel like the market does have to head for a correction. It feels like I think you're right, Steve. We are reaching the point where the disparity is tipping heavily in one. The spending disparity is tipping heavily in two markets, New York and fucking Los Angeles.
The two big markets, yeah.
So, and like, Arizona, I guess they're the Diamondbacks. It's the whole state, but like in Washington, they had Juan Soto on a cheap deal before he was Juan Soto. So, but it's like, other than that, it's Boston, New York, LA, Atlanta. Like these aren't small markets. And now it feels like a lot of the talent is being consolidated into two markets because they can afford the most. And that feels like for the next 10 years, you're going to see a New York versus LA World Series. It just feels like that's how it's going to happen. Now, obviously, injuries happen.
It doesn't feel like it's good for the sport to have just two major markets like that.
And a sport that's dying, by the way.
Yeah, this isn't the 80s. This isn't the Lakers and the Celtics in the 80s where they needed to save the sport because the sport was going under. Like, the sport's going under for baseball, yeah, but like, you need the way that sports are now with social media and everything like that. You need like multiple markets to be able to really lift your sport up when the bill's this high.
It just feels like something's got to change. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a fucking sour grapes Red Sox fan who's like, we only offered him $675 million.
Dude, I think it's just because we're coming off the Ohtani deal, which first of all, I feel like I'm going insane because like last offseason we 100% without everyone was talking about Ohtani deal is the biggest of all time, and now we're just talking about the Soto one is because his was like 600 million last year, and that was like unfathomable. Now this one's clearing 700, doesn't matter. But I think because that worked out, it feels like the Ohtani one worked out so much and somehow it feels worth it. But like I feel like it just takes one of these, like you're saying, one of these deals to just go bad, and then the owners are like, oh, maybe we should just revalue the rookie deals again. You know what I mean? Like it takes like one Jacoby Ellsbury fleece of like for the Yankees to be like crap. And then like they just weren't bit last year, and they might not be bit by the Soto deal either. It'll take like one bad deal, and they might be like that might be like the correction. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe the market will correct itself, but I don't know.
I hope everyone gets. Yeah, I hope a small market team makes the World Series. Let's go.
Oh, for sure. I hope like a really small market team that doesn't usually even compete makes it up there.
In the NBA, where it feels like everybody is like, there's a cap. You have the two 1 seeds in both conferences, Cleveland and Oklahoma City. That would never be the case in the MLB. I know we're talking about like Arizona crushed it last year, but like they were I'm pretty sure they were a wild card team. And like the Dodgers and the Yankees dominated the standings. It's like,
I think you're looking at apples to oranges though.
Well, yes, one has a cap and the other doesn't.
Well, even outside of that, just the game itself. Like one guy can change an entire basketball game. Like LeBron in Cleveland, when he first got drafted, he was dragging teams to the finals, and they weren't spending any money because LeBron was LeBron, and he was on a rookie contract. In baseball, like, yeah, you can have an ace pitcher, but he can only pitch once every 5 days.
Yeah, unless you have Shohei Ohtani.
You can have a great batter, but, like, you can only hit once an inning because the rest of you guys are going to strike out.
I think you're devaluing a bit the aspect of a great player on baseball because Mike Trout backpacked the Angels forever.
Yeah, how many playoff series did they win?
Well, exactly. The team
because it's different. It's a difference. Like where like Oklahoma City drafted really good guys, traded for Shea. They worked the system, and now all of a sudden you got 2 or 3 really good players out of the draft, and that can win you a lot of games because those guys are playing 40 minutes a night, and every night they're playing. It's not a pitcher who pitches once a week. It's not a batter who has a cold streak for 2 weeks, and then your team can't hit for shit. Like you need to build an entire team in baseball to win. Like you have to have a top to bottom. You don't have to have great players top to bottom, but you have to have pretty good players top to bottom to win. In basketball, you're going to have a top-heavy team that can go to the finals.
Yeah, but do they win?
Oh, but they go to the finals and you compete, and then if somebody gets hurt, then you can win. I mean, look at the Warriors. The Warriors were crazy talented, and then they got hurt, and then the Toronto Raptors won the finals. Like, it's the Toronto Raptors. It's not a giant market.
No.
Big market, but it's not a giant market, and it took one guy, Kawhi Leonard, to win them that championship. You can't get one guy in baseball to win you a championship.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably exactly what happened.
But he's not. You also had Mookie Betts, who was, a 3-time MVP. You had Freddie Freeman hitting a home run every other night in the World Series. Like, you still had to have the rest of the horses to get you there.
And speaking of horses, too, could we ever have a World Series where there's only one All-Star and they win? Because that's what Jokic did somehow.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, but come on.
I'm missing the most recent. He's never even played with an All-Star and he won the championship.
I just wanted to throw out some Jokic stuff.
I mean,
I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that narrative, though.
I mean, like,
it's not like he's playing with fucking you and me out there, right? He's playing with a guy who just got Jamal Murray is a All-Star caliber or was an All-Star caliber player, but he just the way it worked out, he just got hurt.
I can't
tough
name
time.
2 guys off that fucking bench in that. I can't name 2 guys off the bench in that championship they won though.
Yes, you can.
Like Jeff Green.
One from Wakefield, bro.
On the championship?
Yes, Bruce Brown.
Oh yeah, he was on that. I got him mixed up with Matthew and G-Wagon minivan over there for the Cats. I was like, he was not on that fucking team.
I don't know. That guy he annoys me. He lives to annoy me in the East.
That's his only purpose in life. He said, you know what? When I grow up, I'm going to make the NBA and I'm going to piss off fucking Cody. That's what I want to do with my life.
He does a good job at it.
So Jamal
did.
Yeah, it is.
What do you say?
I was going to say, it is tough. I feel like this year is really helping that narrative because it's tough to be like, LeBron, Jokic has had good teammates after watching Jamal be like the 5th best player on Team Canada somehow. It's like, holy crap.
That was really tough.
But it's a tough year for it, but I agree. Jamal obviously has better years.
Maybe this is the year I eat my aunt, but I just, I feel like Jamal and Ryan Russillo was talking about, it's like, it's not really that crazy when you think about it. It's people just like to say that because like the years that Jamal would have been an all-star is when he tore his ACL like 6 times. So it's like,
so he
not crazy.
One all-star, we'll say. We'll give him an asterisk. We'll say he played with 1 all-star.
How many all-stars does Jayson Tatum play with?
I mean, Drew Holiday was an all-star. Jaylen Brown was an all-star. Al Horford was an all-star.
Yeah, a million years ago.
Well,
yeah, no, maybe not the best comparison, but whatevs.
But it's also, availability is the best ability. So I'd even say it's even a bigger case if he has someone that's sort of there and never plays. Somehow get a championship out of that.
That's a fair point. I'll secede that ground.
We say all this.
You're not winning a Jokic talk around here.
Listen, the guy's amazing. I don't know what you got me against You got me against the wall here. The guy is one of the best players I've ever seen.
It's hard to argue with you when you're right. I tell you what.
What else you guys got? Anything before we wrap this puppy up?
I mean, like, Jokic is the best player in the league. Tatum's probably second. I mean, Jayson Tatum closed out that Bucks game, 14 points in the 4th quarter, didn't miss, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, no turnovers. Like, just carried you down the stretch in a clutch game and D'd up Dame on 1 possession, forced him to a terrible miss. Played great defense. I mean, he only had 3 assists. He could have had about fucking a dozen in that fucking fourth quarter. He made every right play.
No, we just couldn't shoot to save our
Guys were
lives.
just missing. So he just said, all right, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
He's not clutch, though.
No, he's bad. He's not good.
He's not a good player. He doesn't have a finals MVP.
I guess let's look at some of the games before we wrap it up. Let's see what we got going on for the week ahead. You said, Steve, we don't play until Thursday.
They play the Pistons. I honestly, sounds like a hot take, but I would sit every starter in that game.
Well, you could do that.
I mean,
on Thursday.
It's because it's whatever, but also at the same time, you don't play again until Sunday, so you give your team an entire week off.
And guess who you got on Sunday?
It's the Wizards, I think.
Yeah, it's not.
So give them 2 weeks off until what's our game after the Wizards?
And then that's Thursday against the Bulls, December 19th against the Bulls.
Okay, so we can give them that game off too.
Yeah, I mean, none of them have to play again until, I'd say, Christmas against the Sixers.
That would be the funniest thing ever if we just decided to sit our starters until Christmas.
You'll see some. I think Chris Sass will probably get a decent amount of time off here.
Tweak his ankle. Sam, give him time off too to fix whatever was going on with him. He missed a game for personal reasons, and then he tweaked something on the next game. So give him time to do whatever. Give Drew time to go work on his jump shot. Tell Jayson Tatum that it's Deuce's birthday every week so that he can miss games.
I will say that little bastard is real cute. Seen him in the pregame.
7 years old. It was his birthday on Saturday at the Grizzlies.
The Bucks.
No, it was the Grizzlies. Was his birthday?
Oh, was it? No. We won. He won. He was against the Bucks. It was a Friday. I'm telling you.
Well, Saturday was Larry Bird's birthday. I know that.
It definitely was the Bucks. I saw a Brooks clip of him going up and being like, he was asking Tatum where like the Prince was, because like basically Deuce seems to like own the arena. He just goes around like talking to everyone. I
was gonna say, does any other star have that kind of thing with like his kid? His kid is on the floor working out with him, like just like his kid Deuce has his own handler.
I can think of one that's very prominent.
LeBron. Yeah, I mean, like somebody who's not employed by the team.
Deuce should be employed by the team. That kid should be like rocking all their kids' gear and on like their NBA shop or whatever. Like they would sell out so quick.
But I feel like Riley Curry was out there. I feel like maybe only the Curry family. I feel like the Curry family is really the only one I can think of. But that makes sense because it's kind of like an absolute superstar.
How old is Riley Curry now? She's probably like legitimately 16 years old.
Dude, I actually saw you're bringing up Doom in my brain. I saw something this year that was like, do you remember her at the freaking and then she was like sitting with her mom, and I was like, that's not the mom's like, fuck, that's not like a cousin. Like, that's the same kid I saw 10 years ago. How old am I now? What the fuck? Don't look it up, dude. It hurts. It hurts, dude. She looks like my brother's age, which makes sense because she is. So I'm like, oh.
There's a lot of stars that have done that over the years. Like Al Horford's kids hang out with him on the fucking sideline. Drew's kids are out there.
Well, I think the Celtics just offer that almost as like
Somebody was talking about that. They said that like the organization's so great and like so well put together and everything like that like people feel comfortable bringing their kids around, and like that's a thing that doesn't happen in every organization.
Wow, she does look like a little adult.
It's fucked.
I was like, I'm looking at a picture of her when she was a fucking baby. Dude. Oh my god!
Because I can remember those interviews so much.
Oh, that hurts.
There's a lot of players that do it, but I don't think anybody like we see it more because it's Deuce and like we're watching our team every night. But there's other players that do it.
Yeah, I mean Horford's kid's there, but not really in the same manner.
Celtics are big into the kids being around. I mean, like Russell Westbrook's kids are around a lot when he was playing. Like in LA, they were around a lot. Like Kobe.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I can think of it like kids, like players and their kids definitely being around. But I feel like every single game, Deuce is like he's just like
he's like the king there.
Yeah, he does feel like a bit like a mayor, like the mayor of the garden. Deuce, the mayor of the garden.
Keep him happy. He's gonna be like, Dad, never leave this team.
Hell yeah! I
mean, fucking tall he is already, dude. He's like 7 and he's already like 5 feet tall. It's like, what the fuck is going on,
dude? He's like the height of the handler he was with on the floor. It's nutty.
I mean, it makes sense, dude. You hear about these NBA players being like, I could dunk when I was 11. I guess it checks out.
Yeah, true.
Tatum's got another fucking kid now too, so maybe that one's gonna be just as big too. It might have
But I think it's a girl, right?
No, I don't think so. I just got a tattoo for him. Can't remember.
Shout out LMA power couple.
Yeah, I don't know anything about her. I think I've heard a song or two.
Boot Up? You've heard Boot Up.
Probably. I can't say I've intentionally searched for it, but
It's a good tune.
it's crossed my ears.
She's Irish and African. Afro England? Is that what you would call that? African English? Anyways.
Irish, she fits right in with the Celtics.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Bill Belichick gonna be the next head coach of the Tar Heels.
Did they announce it yet, or is it just still in the rumors?
It's like I've seen every single update is like, Bill. Here's a picture of Bill in 1952 when he was on the UNC campus as a youth. I was like, okay. It's like heavily rumored now.
But didn't he go to like Navy or something like that?
Oh, yeah, he's like he never played. He was like he followed his dad, I think, to like Navy. I think that's right.
I know he's got to do it soon because the transfer portal opens up. I think tomorrow or something like that, or Saturday, something weird. So he's got to end up going over there soon.
Seems like a downgrade. I don't know. I maybe just hold out.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't coach the UNC Tar Heels who have 6 wins this year. Maybe that's just me. But if you got that itch and they're going to pay you, I can't imagine he's going to be very great on recruiting trips.
Yeah, but you wouldn't think Saban is either.
Saban has the pedigree of like, hey, I've won in college. Like, look at all the players I put into the NFL. Belichick doesn't have that. Belichick has I've won championships in the NFL. He doesn't know that you're going to put him in the NFL.
You don't think Belichick could be like? I think you're drastically understating the effect Bill Belichick has on people.
No. I mean, like, look, he's Bill Belichick. So he's obviously the greatest coach of all time. But like, I mean, look at what Saban's done for like those kids aren't looking to win a championship in college. Those kids are looking to make the NFL. And if you look at what Belichick's done in the NFL, like he takes players at one position and makes them play a different position.
Yeah, well, Belichick's be like, who do you think taught that guy? Me.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like if you're, I don't want to be an offensive lineman that now plays tight end. Like, might not work for me. Or maybe a tight end that plays offensive line now. Like, I'm not going to make the NFL doing this.
I think it's probably just a power play being like, hey, I have an offer to go be somewhere else. And that'll like force Jerry Jones to be like, okay, Mike McCarthy, you're fired.
Yeah, trying to leverage the NFL with college offers. I can see that.
Who do you got tonight, Bengals or the Cowboys?
John Kitna will lead the Bengals to victory.
John Kitna played for both teams, funny enough.
Oh, yeah, he was a backup for Dak, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I think it was like Drew Bledsoe when Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback. I think it was forever ago.
Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback for the fucking Cowboys?
Yeah, a million years ago. Yeah.
Drew Bledsoe. I was thinking Drew Brees. I was like, no fucking way. I was like, I would have known that one. I'm not an idiot. Well, I am an idiot, but that's besides.
No, you aren't.
I got the Bengals by 1 million.
Yeah.
I think this is the game that gets Mike McCarthy fired.
I think the Red Rocket,
who also play for both teams.
Andy Dalton.
His protege, Cooper Rush.
Is that the fucking ginger you're thinking of?
That's the one. That's the backup right now, yeah. But I think didn't Dalton also play for them? But right now they have Cooper Rush, who's ginger and looks quite similar.
Because all of these things that are true.
Yeah.
Football.
Shout out Monday Night Football. The 4-8 Bengals versus the 5-7 Cowboys. Woo!
The NFL loves doing this to people because they know they're going to watch.
Yes, I will be watching this while I edit this podcast.
They're not fucking slating this thing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday where it's going to get buried behind another game. They're going to put it in tonight when there's nothing else to watch so they get their numbers.
Only one NBA game.
Christmas this year, too.
There's also like no NBA on tonight, which sucks. Only one game.
The NBA's scared of the NFL with that.
No, it's not. I don't think they're scared. I think they just resign themselves to the fact, like, hey, you can't beat the king.
I would be pissed if I was Adam Silver and the fucking NFL started playing on Christmas. Like the NBA doesn't play on fucking Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's a football holiday, and Christmas is a basketball holiday.
I enjoy them both.
Football stinks.
You fucking stink.
I'm not going to argue with you when you're right.
Patriots don't stink. 0-0 this week, baby. Let's go. All right, that's enough. This is the Banner Report. I'm calling it. You'll see us next week. I'll edit this tonight. And be nice to each other. Be kind to each other. Enjoy the holidays.
Happy holidays.
Everybody stay healthy. I know it's fucking cold and flu season.
Stay warm.
Stay warm.
Especially you Celtics players.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Stay away from germs.
Our sweet princes. All right. Go C's. Bye.
Peace. Love you.